Hey people, welcome to our Bettery Hub channel. Yet again, another awesome Thursday, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, as I always say, Thursday is one of my most exciting day of the week, not Sundays. Ever since Bettery Hub channel started again. Why? Because to meet up with you guys and having awesome guests up on our channel. So I hope you are having an awesome week so far. And now today, just a few things for those of you guys. Once again, thank you for all the feedback you're giving us from the last chat that we had with June. And today we have an awesome guest. But before we move on, I'd like to just highlight to you all there are some new initiatives. First of all, of course, for those of you who love to see live chats, then just check out our YouTube page and just do remember to subscribe because we'll be having our live stream of this live chat right at this moment. Or if you are at our Bettery Hub channel, remember to like our page or Bettery Lab channel. And if you prefer audio, if you are somebody who loves to just listen, then just check out our podcast, Bettery Hub podcast on Spotify, where all of these live chats are actually up on Spotify. So do remember. And now we have another initiative that every single one of our guests, after our live chats with them in our program, we will make sure we have a small summary of all the key points, and it will be up on our LinkedIn page, Bettery Labs LinkedIn page. So do feel free to drop by to check it out. Now, before we begin, I have some good news for you guys. Now, first of all, we have already started on season 2, and our season 2 first episode started in March 2021. All right. So now that we have started, today we have an awesome guest coming up, and he's going to talk about his passion on entrepreneurship, and as well as I'll go into the details of introducing him. But for our viewers, we have something special for you. Now, we have a simple question for you. As you can see now, what is the episode number today for our Bettery Hub channel season 2? The episode number today. Now, just a clue, if you think you can't remember the number of guests who have come in for season 2, just drop by our YouTube page, check out how many chats we have. Just to give you a clue, our first guest for this season was our very own dog Yogi, Ganesh. So do feel free to check. Now, once you got the answer, whether you are on YouTube platform or Facebook platform, just remember to give us episode and the number. Episode 9, episode 15, episode 17. Just put it up there. Now, once that happens, I will link up with you. The first guy who gets the right answer, or the lady who gets the right answer, you'll have a chance to join me to go to do some extraing. All right. So I will keep you updated on that. Now, without any delays, let's invite upon our today's guest, Samuel Tey. Now, this guy, never ceases to excite me whenever I see him. Now he's the CEO and founder of X Factor, and also owns and manages Atlas Transport and Logistics. Now, Samuel is a young entrepreneur, fired up. When I had my chat with him, I really feel that he's a guy who's like, the best way to get started is to quit talking and start doing. He's a doer, right? And after serving his national service in the army, he was a freelance personal trainer, followed by an export traffic controller in a logistic firm. And then, trained to keep his eyes peeled for opportunities, Samuel decided to embark on his entrepreneurship journey. We started about 3 years ago when he started 2 businesses at one time. Now, for those of you who are thinking of starting a business, trust me, today, our guest, Samuel, has started 2 businesses at the same time. All right. And according to Samuel, embarking on his entrepreneurship journey was the best decision he ever made, as it pushed him out of his comfort zone. And now he finds comfort in his uncomfortable zone. Samuel, as he shares the importance of finding comfort in the uncomfortable. So without any delays, let's invite upon Samuel. Hey, Samuel.
Hey, guys. Hey, hi, Satek. Yeah, nice to see you again, man.
It's always nice to see you. And for those of you guys, the viewers, I've been meeting Samuel a lot at the X-rowing range rather than anywhere else. He has been like my so-called teacher, showing me how to do the right throws and so on. So, Samuel, thank you so much to join us amidst your busy schedule.
Yeah, no worries. It's an honor to be here, actually. To get invited by you. That there's a lot of accomplished people who has been here. So it's really an honor for me to be here.
All right, Samuel. And Samuel, before you came in, I actually threw a contest for our guest, and we have the first answer. The number, which episode is this? Now, we have one answer from Dana. It's episode 6. Now, I'm not going to say whether it's the right answer or not. Okay, we leave it open. So the rest of the guests out there, or viewers out there, it's still open. So, do feel free to still, come on and give your answers. Thanks, Dana. And with that, Samuel, let's begin. A brief introduction of yourself and the journey behind your current success.
Okay. So basically, right. This year I'm actually 29 years old already. I started my business back when I was in 25, 26, right? So prior to that, I was in the Air Force. The changing point really started for me when I was in the Air Force, right? Because there was like this, QZ 8501. It actually crashed and it went missing. And then I was actually part of the search and rescue team. So I actually volunteered to go into it. And then I wanted to be part of the rescue team. Yeah. Then thereafter, after I joined in, I also joined the National Day Parade. So I was a helper helping out there. And then thereafter, I think my commander and everyone else look at the initiative that I've taken when I was serving the force in the Air Force. They actually chose me to go for this Outstanding Serviceman of the Month. So after I get the Outstanding Serviceman of the Month, then they got me the Outstanding Serviceman of the Year, and then they went ahead and nominated me to go for the APGC Best, which is like the command level award. So why am I telling this story is because the change really happened when they started interviewing me for the awards, right? So I step inside, and then there's like a panel of commanders who are actually interviewing you, and then I'm just like a sergeant, right? And then there's like colonels and above, and then they're like sitting right opposite me. And then it was a really scary experience. You sit there and then you don't know what to expect and everything else. So in preparation for that, that was the first time that I actually put myself into a really uncomfortable situation where I have to find comfort fast. Otherwise, I will not be able to speak well, and they might not choose me to win the award. But in the end, I managed to, and then that's where my journey, it really changed my whole perspective of how I interact with people and everything else. Right. So that was amazing.
Quite an exciting NS journey, right? Involving in expeditions or search rescue missions and so on. And so when you were talking about a panel of all the senior commanders, you're talking about it's actually a panel to choose. That means each one of the nominated candidate will be there to be interviewed to see who's the winner.
Yes, correct. So I think there's I'm the only NSF there. So I'm the only one that is serving 2 years. The rest of them are actually regulars. So I'm actually fighting against regulars. But at the end of the day, I managed to win APGC Best. So I won all the regulars, and then they chose me for another award, which is RSF Best. So that one I didn't win. That one I got the second place. Correct. So all in all, I think you can really get a lot of life experiences no matter where you go. It just depends on your outlook, So I think I learned a lot during my army days. A lot of people I've come across said that NS is a waste of time. But I think that nothing in life that you are doing is actually a waste of time, because there's always a greater potential that you are able to learn from it, whereby in the future it might play a part in who you are going to be and what you are going to do. Yeah, so it's really helped me.
Being an ex-regular, it's really commendable, because being an ex-regular myself, I know how is it in an interview with all the senior commanders. I know the atmosphere, right? It's definitely it's not comfortable for many. Including myself when I was a regular. So, I mean, give it a big thumbs up to you, Samuel.
Thank you.
At least. And let's talk about your journey. Once you finish your NS, your awesome experience in terms of, the achievements and the awards. Now, what about, what made you want to become a freelance personal trainer? And, then subsequently go into, export traffic controller?
So for freelance personal trainer, prior to that, right, I actually love working out by myself. So when I was in poly, I actually joined the Dragon Boat team. But then their training was really tough for me. So end up I just took up gymming. So I went to the gym every day and everything else, and then eventually I stopped because it was such a chore to actually go and gym every single day, right? So I really found my passion in calisthenics, so in bodyweight training, right? So the reason behind that is because for me, I really believe that one of the values that you need to have as a person or as an entrepreneur, you need to have consistency. So it's very hard for me to be consistent when I'm going to the gym every day, right? So every single day I have to take bus, and then I have to head to the gym. I have to get my clothes and everything. So it's so hard to be consistent and disciplined when there's so many steps involved. So I was thinking, let's make things easier. Okay, let's take up calisthenics, whereby I can train anywhere, any place, anytime, right? So right underneath my block, there's like a park whereby I can just go there and train. So eventually, people cannot stay motivated all the time. So consistency comes next. So I just came out with a very simple workout plan, right? Every single day, I just do 2 different exercises, which is pull-ups and dips, right? So I just do these 2 exercises every single day for 6 months, right? So I was thinking, like, even if I do the same thing every single day, I will probably be better than where I'm at right now. So that was what I did back then. And then eventually I just thought, hey, maybe I can let other people know about my journey as well. And then through calisthenics, I'll be able to influence more people to actually take up a healthier living lifestyle. Because I have friends around me, asking me, hey, how are you doing this? Why does it seem so easy for you? How do you remain motivated? How do you remain consistent with your training and everything? So I thought, maybe getting a personal training license is good. Yeah. Then from there onwards, I have some clients here and there. I'm a freelance, not ever tagged to a gym. Yeah. So that's good. Yeah.
And so subsequently after that, you decided to move on in the logistic industry.
Yeah. So thereafter, because freelance personal training wasn't really what I want to do in the long run. To be honest, it wouldn't give me a very comfortable life, because being a personal trainer means every single minute and every single hour of your time is being changed into money. So you are trading time for money. So I think, to me, time is a really important thing. So from there onwards, I actually pivot and then try to look at where I can do more work that probably will lead me to where I want to be. So then I joined my dad's company. So the logistics firm was actually my dad's company. Back then it was called Red Point Logistics. It's still called Red Point Logistics. It's still around today. So I joined a company, and then what we were doing was third-party logistics for DHL. So DHL, then after that come down, there's another logistic firm, and then it's us. So essentially we are left the bones, right? So it's basically paycheck to paycheck. So the company is not like, I was born into a silver spoon whereby everything is given to me. I just have to take a position in the management level, and then after that everything comes to me. No, so it's not like that. So I actually have to hold a position, and I took I think for the first 1.5 years I did not take any salary at all. I just took like whatever that is enough for me to survive on a day-to-day basis. So that was what I did, because I think at one point the company almost couldn't survive, right? Because the main con actually lowered our prices. Yeah. So from there, I took out all my savings and then I just put into the company, right? I never think twice. The entire point is to let the company survive, even though I don't know what's the future of the company yet. Yeah. Then the turning point actually came 2 years later, after I joined my dad's company, right? The main con was actually gonna get kicked out of DHL, right? So because we have a contract with the main con, we couldn't go direct to DHL. Then DHL actually came to me, because my name is not in my dad's company. He came to me and said, okay, so I actually need trucks and things people to support me right now. What can you do to kind of circumvent the contract? And I say, let me just start a new business, and then we will I will just take over the contract. I mean, then you got to trust that I'll be able to do it. So it's really the trust that they have given me that I have this opportunity, right? However, during this period whereby the opportunity presented itself, I was already looking for a space for the X throwing venture. Yeah. So at that point of time, I was like, so now I have 2 opportunities on my hands. So what now? Because my X-ray, I already found my partner, and my partner is like, rah, want to go in, want to get in, and want to start as soon as possible with me. So we are like jumping around many different places, looking for rental space already, something that was suit our need. Then the call came in, then I'm like, no, now what? which do I choose, right? Yeah.
It was a good problem.
It was definitely a good problem. So at that point of time, I was like thinking, why not I do both, right? Because I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. I mean, people who knows me, I've always looked at Elon Musk, and I think that he's he's an amazing guy. Every single company of his is like changing the world in one aspect or another, right? So I was thinking, if he can run a car and a space company, then I probably can do this, right? It probably wouldn't be that hard. I should be able to do it, right? So with that in mind, and still not knowing how to do it, I just decided, let's just do both and see how it goes. Yeah, so that was the start of how I started two businesses.
Your
Yeah.
entrepreneurial journey started at that. All right, cool. I mean, quite interesting to say that, when you had your passion at one end, which was your ex doing, and then another opportunity came about, and that's like, as I said, a good problem where you got two opportunities. And I think that's also, you decided to go for both. Not many would do that. Some will say, you should choose one, focus your energy in one. But I think it's been 3 years, I guess, since you started both. And wow, that's great. But just going on, right? Now, entrepreneurship is actually a very sexy word, right? Everybody want to be called an entrepreneur. They want to go out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But, in terms what I've noticed, Samuel, when I had chats with you, I always find that there's so much passion whenever we talk about entrepreneurship. So, apart from the opportunities that came to you, right? I think you already made up your mind that you want to go into the entrepreneurship path. So what inspired you to be the entrepreneur?
Yeah. So actually, so this story is also when I was in the Air Force. So I told you, a lot of things happened during my NS days. So sad to say, during my NS day, my mom actually got a stroke right back then. Then I was in camp. Then after that, my dad just called me and then said, "Hey, I think your mom is sick." Then I'm like, so what's wrong? Then after that, I pick up the call and then, I heard my mom, the slurred speech. And then I'm like, okay, immediately call the ambulance right now. I believe that she's got a stroke. So from there on, I was in a very bad place then because I'm very close with my mom. So every single day, when I come home, I'll see my mom sitting at the couch watching TV. And then, for the next few days or, for the next 1 week or so, she was in the hospital. So when I got home, she wasn't there. So that made me actually feel like, I really, really missed her. And I don't know what is going to happen in life because this hit without any, without any so I didn't know, when it's going to happen. Right. So from then on, I realized that, time, it's something that I would love to have on my hands. Right. It doesn't matter if I'm not rich or, I couldn't get the things that I want. But I think for me, having time on my hands to be able to spend it with my mom and with my loved ones, that means a lot more than any amount of money that I can get. So I started my business with that in mind. So in all my businesses, right, I build it in a way whereby I am able to do work remotely. Right. And if let's say something were to happen or whatnot, I will be able to excuse myself right away and be there for my loved ones. Right. So I wouldn't be like, having too much work commitment. So the entire idea is that is actually what really inspired me to own my own business because I really want to own my own time. Yeah. And I wouldn't want all my time spent working for someone else. So that's it. Yeah.
And I guess that's one of the key things, right? Every entrepreneur definitely has a trigger point or something that will inspire them to move forward. And yours was family, mom, right? Yeah. So now, but of course, being an NSF and then, you were a personal trainer and you're working with your dad, and then taking on an entrepreneurship journey, right? Were there any personal experiences that you had prior to that to have the confidence to go on, or were you like, I want to do this, and you just went in there with the hope that yes, I will do. So how did you actually manage that? Were there any experiences that you had prior to that?
It's actually a half thing. So the experiences will probably come from because after my mom got a stroke, right? Because the company is actually ran by my dad and my mom. So my mom is like doing the building stuff and all the GST stuff within the company. So once my mom got a stroke, the next person in line is me. Because all I have are all my younger brothers, right? So I'm the eldest, I'm the next in line. So everything just landed on my shoulders because my dad is not very tech savvy. In fact, he probably don't know how to use a computer. Not because he wouldn't be able to, but because he just don't want to learn, right? Yeah. So with all the tech stuff, with all the computer stuff, it all landed to me, and I really have to figure out my way through it all. Like, how do I do this? How do I report GST? How do I run a company? Doing all the tech stuff, CPF, everything else. So essentially, I'm just banging walls and figuring out my way. So from there, I really gained a little bit of experience. Definitely not enough to own 2 businesses yet. The other 50% is just, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? Because at the end of the day, if you think of, starting 2 businesses, what's the worst that can happen? If I fail, I'll probably go bankrupt. That's not death, so that's not the worst that can happen to me. Hence, thinking of it that way, it doesn't feel that scary anymore. So I just decided, let's just do it and see how it goes. Yeah.
And you brought up an excellent point in terms of, what's the worst can happen, right? A lot of people actually, they hesitate to bring their passion to the next level, whether it's entrepreneurship or anything else, because of this fear. And like what you say, once you are clear of what's the worst can happen, and you know that, hey, if that's the situation, if that happens, then fine, I'm able to face it. I think then a lot of them will know what are the issues they may face, and they are prepared for it. So I think that perspective, I believe that also was something that worked very well for you.
Yeah. I mean, nothing can be, nothing is as bad as it seems. I think we are very used to exaggerating stuff. So if bad things happen, then we always think that it's worse than it actually is. So if you look at it rationally, chances are it is actually not that bad. And if you think further, 5 years later, will whatever I'm facing now matter? Probably not. Then you just not let it affect you for more than 5 minutes, I guess. So that's what I have always been trying to do. Yeah.
Right. But I personally believe in what you just said. What's the worst can happen? Life goes on, right? Now, since you spoke about Elon Musk, we have Iskandar who have a question for you. Now, Samuel, if Elon Musk says that we should think interplanetary, what would be equivalent mindset and advice?
What would be my equivalent mindset and advice? I actually agree with Elon Musk. I really think that we should be interplanetary as well. And then I think that we should also be like him and look into the future and see, how we are able to change the world in our own ways, right? Because as of right now, I'm working with DHL. So I am able to tell them, look, Singapore is going green. Elon Musk is Tesla is coming into Singapore and everything else. So what we should try to do is let's try and build some electrical points within the warehouse so that we are able to convert some of our fleet into electric vehicle, right? So in that way, we will be doing our part in going green. So I think that will definitely be my mindset moving forward from here on out, because as a logistic firm owner, I have 10 over trucks under my care and control. So if there's a way for me to change my entire fleet into electric vehicle, right, I think that it will really reduce my carbon footprint by quite a bit, and it will probably inspire other logistics firm to do the same.
Yep. And you'll become the trailblazer, embarking on this as well in the industry.
Yeah, I definitely want to be, one of the first few to actually adopt an electric vehicle. I've been telling DHL people that as well. The management, every time they tell us, so what do you think about EV? I'm like, let's go for it, But then sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while for corporations and even the government itself to warm up to the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks. And Iskandar, if this answers your question, just give us a thumbs up. And for the rest of the viewers, as we go on, do feel free to ask questions to engage Samuel. Now, Samuel, another question I have is, what is your typical day like? Can you just describe to us what is your typical as an entrepreneur?
So usually, in the morning, so I'll wake up, have my breakfast, all the standard things. Try to get a workout in or two, but I've been really So essentially, I'll wake up and then for the first half of the day, I'll actually be doing my logistic firm one, right? So all the emails and everything else that I have to reply, all the billings and all the emails that I have to send. So I'll be taking charge of my logistic site's operation. Then there on out, the second half of the day, it's either I'll be out for meeting with X Factor, the vision, the what are we doing in the future, in the pipeline and everything else. Or I'll be handling customer booking and I'll be handling the emails as well. Yeah, for X Factor. So first half Atlas, second half X Factor. Usually it works like that. Sometimes it can switch. It depends. Yeah.
Right. So it's basically having your time segregated to the different areas where your attention is needed. And now, interestingly, I'm going to talk about your passion project. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I will call X Factor more of your passion project. It's what you really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now, before we go into, before we talk about X Factor, now I want our viewers to have a journey. Just to give a short overview, why we had Samuel here. Now, first of all, I was checking out for something fun to do in Singapore. And that is when I saw X Factor. And my first thought was, X Factor can't be in Singapore. It must be in the US or some other place. Then I realized, hey, it's Singapore address, right? It's like, wow, So straight away, I made a booking and I went there. And that's it. I'm still hooked. And so before we talk about X Factor, let me just show you all, for the benefit of those of you who have never been there, how's the feeling now? This is not a corporate video. I was just having a chat with Samuel. This is an homemade video done by me and a couple of guys who went there, and this is the actual experience you see when you are up at X Factor. So here you go. For Bettery Hub. Now, it's just a short video, but I also got to warn all of you guys that not all the access landed right on that board. There were a lot of access that dropped out. I never take videos. All right. So let's talk about X Factor itself, Samuel. Tell us more about X Factor.
So essentially, when I came across X throwing, maybe like you did, I came across X throwing. It was through Jason Momoa, right? Aquaman star. So he was like drinking beer and throwing axes. Then I'm like, wow, that is such a manly thing to do, and it looks super fun and super amazing. You probably have a good time with your friends and everyone else. So my first thought is a little bit different from yours. I'm like, this, Singapore must have this, right? So I went to search X throwing Singapore. And I'm quite surprised. I'm like, there's no X throwing in Singapore. That cannot be. So I really tried doing a deep search, and then I'm like, okay, so if there's no X-ray in Singapore, chances are, number one, people haven't stumbled upon the idea yet, or number two, it's really hard to get the license to operate here, right? Turns out both of the answers are right. Yeah. So it is hard to get a license to operate here, but because of these two reasoning, right? Immediately I just like, okay, either way, let's just try. Even if I cannot get the license, there's no harm in trying. I will probably regret it if down the road I see someone opening an X throwing range. So I would rather not have that, right? So I'd rather try and open it myself. And turned out really no one has ever applied the license before. It's an entirely new thing with the police force. So it took about 4 months of to and fro communication, lots of presentations with them before we are able to get the license, right? And then now they are kind of already my friends, and I have a direct line to the guy who actually granted the license, everything. And they actually came down to throw on the first day that we are open, right? Once the first lane was built, right, they say, okay, we got to try this. So they brought the team down, and then they came down, and then they tried X-throwing themselves, and realized that it's actually not that dangerous after all. Yeah, so but still we have lots of precaution going on. Okay, and so back to the story. Yep. Yeah, sorry, you were saying. Yeah, so back to the story on once I stumbled upon this thing, X throwing, immediately once I realized that Singapore doesn't have it, the first thought that I have was that I want to try it first, right? So I booked an air ticket to Australia, which at that point of time was the closest we can ever go to X throw. Asked a few of my friends, brought my mom along, and then we just and my younger brother, and then we just flew to Australia, Gold Coast, and then we just threw some X's there and had a countdown party there. And then, it was a great time for everyone. Every single one of my friend and my brother, they say that this is gonna be amazing. It's great fun. So that gave me the confidence to bring it back. Yeah, and then once I came back, for the next 4 months, I was just working on this. Yeah, all the way. That was already in 2018. So the next 4 months, I was working on this, and then from April, I actually found my partner, and then we decided to open a company back in April 2018, and then we started looking for space, and the rest is history. Yeah.
Right. And now, of course, you talk about how you inspired, right? How this became your passion project. Now, the next question will be very, I will say, I have the answer for that as well, but I still got to ask you this question now. What makes X throwing fun that makes your customers come back?
What makes them come back? I think, I spoke to a few people. Most of them, they always say that, they feel really relaxed, after throwing X's and everything else. So they will just keep on, bringing their friends, say, hey, this is a great place for relaxation and everything else. Then they will come back. So that's one of the kind of customers that we have. Then the second kind is purely, they just want to have fun, and it's, it's just a different spot, and, you can just bring your friends in, have a little competition going on, and then, it's just great laughters and great fun. It's just a very unique location for them to spend their time with their friends, rather than going to bowling alleys or, those bars without anything else. Yeah, so they would rather come to X throwing with their friends, and, they can just compete with X throwing, the loser pay or whatever. Yeah, so then, question back to you, since you are a regular customer now, right? So what makes you actually want to come back for more X throwing?
Yeah, so that's the main reason why I say I already know the number, the answer, because I, as a customer of X Factor itself. Now, just a little story behind this. I got excited about X Factor, and then my whole team of guys, we were thinking, let's do a cohesion, right? And then we were thinking, where should we go? And then I said, let's go for X throwing, and that's our first encounter coming over there. And of course, it's not just the guys, but we had a couple of ladies as well. And they were like quite like, X throwing, you sure? It's going to be heavy, it's going to be dangerous, So on the way, while we're driving towards X Factor, right, in Turf City, some of the ladies in the car is like, you sure, Sakti? We still can turn back. I say, just go there. So we reached there, and then, I saw the location is like, wow, it's quite awesome, right? You got all the different lanes, and then we allocated the lanes, and then we were given a brief, of course, the safety brief by Matthew. And that's it. When the first track, the X went out, all right, the feeling, especially when you hit before you hit the board itself, there's a few times your X drop, but either way, the sound of X on a board, it's like, I don't know, it was a different feel, right? Like you achieve your goal, it's like, pop, you want to hit that. So I think
really
that
satisfying.
Yeah, it was satisfying. And then it just went on, and the ladies as well, immediately, initially they were like, hey, can I do it? And that's it. And in fact, after that, I found it difficult for me to take over and tell them it's my turn. They are like continuously throwing, and every time I say it's my turn, it's like, see, one more, and then they will go on and on. And that's where I realized that X throwing is another experience by itself. And it's not about just throwing, like what you said, Samuel. You can have competitions. And another experience I had is my partner, Iskandar. When I called him up, I said, bro, you should join me. And he told me, it's, X throwing, so violent. You know why? I said, just join me. So he came over, and that's it. When we started throwing X, and that's it. We were like having, our own, the king stays. And then we like kept on throwing with different points and everything. Like what you say, we started challenging for our meals and everything. So I guess it became an experience. Even when we came back, we had a lot of conversations. And I think for me, Samuel was telling me that, that even I think X Factor is thinking of even having a competition, something that you all are working on.
Yeah, the first competition that is gonna happen is actually next month. We are gonna hold it May. I think it's May 14. It's a Friday. Hang on, let me check. Yeah, May 14. So it's a Friday. It's gonna be a very small group of our regular thrower. So there's just gonna be like 8% throwing in the league, because now it's a COVID period, so we definitely cannot hold such a huge number of people. Initially, we actually planned one charity event last year actually, But then circuit breaker hit, and then there's all this phase 1, phase 2 thing, and then the charity event just got put one side first. We actually, I think, got Maybank as part of the sponsor for us. Yeah, but then it didn't happen because of COVID. So eventually, definitely it will happen for sure. Yeah, because that's our vision right now. Is we want to make it into a sport, and then in X-throwing, everybody starts on equal footing, right? It's not like maybe it's swimming whereby you have to start when you are young, then you train your way up, right? But for X-throwing, none of us has ever tried X-throwing before, right? Unless you have come over the X Factor before.
And just to talk about Bettery's tanks, but really it looks like a place to vent your anger. But in my experience, after once you can hit the board, right, then it becomes how accurate can it be. And Bettery's, I think it's time that we should engage you. Come over with us and throw some X's. Now, just to tell you that the moment I heard there's going to be a competition, I told Samuel, can you please put my name in? I don't mind training hard. Why? Because one thing of X Factor was the moment I know there's going to be a competition coming up, it's not about the winning part, but I think it's about you have a purpose, right? Now that I have a chance to go to X Factor and there's a competition coming up, all the more I feel that I want to be better at it, right? So it becomes more than just throwing X and vent frustration or just feel good, but it's like, hey, let's be more accurate. So I think that's the excitement that Samuel and the guys managed to create by coming up with this, right? So we have Ganesh. Great catching up with you. My wife is watching this channel and she's rounding up her friends to drop by. Cool.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yes, and definitely we can have a program for the working ladies. Definitely. That's great to hear, Ganesh.
For sure.
Yes, we will work together and then let's have the ladies to have some fun. Anyway, I'm still waiting for more of you to give us the right answer. Now, I tell you what, now that we talked about this, just to sidetrack a bit, initially I said that, what's the episode number today for Bettery Hub Channel Season 2, right? So far, we have one answer from Tana. So I tell you what, instead of one, let's make it 3. 3 of you who can get a complimentary X-throwing experience with, with the Bettery Hub Channel. So, 3 of you. So, for those of you guys who think that you can find the answer, go to our YouTube channel and check it out and get back to us about that. Now, going back to X Factor, there's so many things to talk about, right? What made you think that X Factor was a good business venture? I mean, as an entrepreneur, passion is passion, but end of the day, entrepreneurship is about thinking through the processes in terms of how a certain initiative can be a good business venture. So, what made you think that this could be a good business venture?
Yeah, so I mean, in life, sometimes you stumble upon things, or sometimes you go out shopping and you see something and immediately just click in your head like, I want this, right? This is the right thing to get. This is what I want. I will not regret doing it. I will not regret buying it. So X Factor is one of those moments for me, right? Once I stumbled upon X throwing and then I went to throw, and then my friend told me that it's great fun. Even I had so much fun, even though for the first 45 minutes I couldn't stick my X's. So I only got it like in the last 15 minutes of that 1 hour. Then I'm like, yeah, but it's still fun, right? So what makes me think that it's a good business venture is because once I see this idea and it just click in my head like this is gonna be good because there's the novelty factor. So first of all, once people hear about X-throwing, maybe majority, maybe more than half of the people, they will be like, okay, let's try this someday, right? And there's also so many people that we are able to target for X-throwing. We can target the corporate groups, we can target the couples, we can target people who actually comes for first date. What better way to where better to bring your first date than to X-throwing, right? Imagine you bring the females, they will bring their guy first date, and then the females show them that they can throw an X. The guy probably wouldn't dare to do anything to her anyway after seeing that.
Or the other way is that the girl can say, if you want a second date, make sure you hit the bullseye, right? Then we can talk about the second date. If not, don't waste my time.
Yeah, you need to show that you are capable enough. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that we are actually able to target, right? So from then on, I really have a pipeline in my head, right? First of all is to introduce people to the sport of X-throwing. What is X-throwing about? To let people know that it is a safe sport, because that is the only barrier that we had to get across, right? It's like once Singapore, when Universal Studios first came out, they had the roller coaster and everything. It happened to me. Me and my friends were like, "Do you want to go to USS right now?" Then I'm like, "Let's not. Let's wait for 6 months. Make sure that there's no accident first. Then we go." Right. So I think essentially that's a lot of people's mindset. So starting out, we just have to get across the safety barrier. Let people know that X-ray is actually a very safe sport, which I believe the ladies that have came over with you would have known. Right before that, they were scared. Yeah, but then once they throw that.
You have somebody saying thanks for the date idea, Patrick's already said that.
Yeah. Bring the guy along. Yeah, show him.
We have Dana who never heard about this sport until Sakti went and shared with me. So hope to try one day. So definitely, Dana, you already answered the question. Oh, we have one more person, Ganesh, episode 6. Okay, we got 2 people who have said it's episode 6. So let's check it out.
Nice.
All right. So I know we have more of you guys. Try. You'll never know, right? It could be episode 6 or it could be more or less. So there's still chance. Yep. And I think going back. Apologies, Samuel. I had to, as and when the comments are coming in.
No worries. Understand. Yeah.
Now, Samuel, you were saying that there are different groups that you targeted, right? So, specifically, what is the major bulk of group that X Factor actually target?
So the customers that actually walk in, because we actually target most of the people, because the entire idea is to spread the sport of X throwing out. Right, to let as many people know about X throwing as possible. Thereafter, we build an ecosystem of X throwers, and then we start a competition. Right, so essentially, that was the pipeline that I already have in mind. So this group of people that I target everyone. So I can only tell you, who are the majority of the customers that actually walk in. So the majority of the customers that walk in are from 18 years old to 35 years old. So all the way from young adults to 35 years old, working class adults. So these people, they will actually initially either they come with their date, or they'll come with their friends, and then they'll go back and then they'll bring their entire company here, because they realize that it's a great sport. It's a great place. We have like 3,000 plus square feet. Then they will just go back and be like, boss, let's do this for our next team bonding. And then they will actually come in. So prior to COVID, we actually we have done a lot of corporate events, like 2 to 3 corporate events almost every single week. So that's great. And we have customers all the way up to 80 years old. So there was one time an 80 years old lady actually came in and she tried X throwing. So my staff was like telling me the story, and I was like, what? And she can throw. So this sport is actually, it is really for everyone. I'm not saying it because I'm the owner of it, but because it is that case, right? Yeah.
And for those of you, though Samuel says from 18 to 35, for those of you who are young at heart like myself, and those who are even 80 years old, and in fact Samuel was saying there could be possibly another one of his regular customers who's about 70, and he throws excellent X, right? X.
Oh yeah. The 70 years old. The way he throws is very different as well. And I have no idea why is he so accurate. Every time he comes to the range, everyone will just stand behind him and look at him throw. So I really hope that one day, I can introduce him to you as well, Sati.
Definitely. Yeah. I think I was amazed when you were telling the way he throws his X and everything. So age is never a barrier. So for those of you who are not within the 18 to 35, the good news is we are young at heart. I'm not that old anyway. So, we are, it's a good place to be there. And now the good thing is that we have one more answer. Pesha. Hi, Pesha. Good to be here on the show. See you on the show. Episode 6. Wow, it seems like all of you are talking about episode 6. Okay, thank you, Pesha. We will know end of the show whether it's episode 6. Now, I still would suggest that those of you out there keep the answers going. Sometimes Bettery Hub Channel as well as X Factor may be very generous, and we can go more than 3. You'll never know, right? So keep the answers coming in. Now, remember, all those of you answered, to subscribe our YouTube channel since you are there to check it out. And now, Samuel, let's talk about corporate companies. You do have corporate clients coming in.
Yep.
And usually, is it a structured program, or it is like they come there, they just have team building while they just go there and have cohesion?
Yep. So for us, it's actually quite quite flexible in terms of that. We will really actually just listen to what our corporate clients want. So there will be one liaison, and then he will just talk to us, what are they looking for. So some of them, they already have their entire event planned out, right? And then they will just, they will tell you, okay, I'm planning for 4 hours. For the first 3 hours, chit chat, eat, and just throwing on vexes, letting everybody have a feel. Last hour we do competition. So that's usually how it goes. Then for some, they will actually want us to plan like different team bonding games. Some even want us to help them film videos, take photos, everything else, which they will actually just pay additional for. Yeah, so it really depends on what the corporate client actually needs. Yeah, but if we are talking about what majority of them does, is that they will come in. Our coaches will actually run through a safety brief for them and a how to throw technique. And then depending on how many lanes they book, or is it at the entire place or not, they'll be free to just go into the range to throw at any time that they want. And my staff will just be walking around and giving them tips and tricks on how to better their form and how to throw better. There on now, depending on how many people they have, the last part of their corporate event will be a competition for them. And then some would even want medal. Some will give them vouchers and everything else. So it's like a full-fledged competition.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so it is both for individuals and for corporate. Now, in fact, just to say, Bettery Lab recently have been working with some of our clients to actually arrange this activity soon. We are liaising with X Factor. So for those of you who want a more structured program, you can always also look for Bettery Lab, and we will liaise and we work hand in hand with X Factor to make sure the event goes with certain learning values. Why do I say that? When I throw, and with some of the couple of the guys, we realize that there's so much lessons you can learn apart from just bluntly throwing. There are a lot of lessons that can be brought into the corporate world. So I think for individuals, those of you who are thinking right now, we are interested and we want to throw X and how to contact, I can suggest that you guys can go to X Factor SG at Facebook and X Factor SG at Instagram. So Samuel, is this the best place for them to contact and make an appointment? What's the process like?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if let's say you want to make an appointment, we actually have our number that our customers will actually contact us via. So under X Factor SG, when you go to our Instagram or Facebook, you will be able to find a number anyway. So the first point of contact, you go to Facebook or Instagram, that would be perfect, right? You can even direct message us any questions that you have. Actually, myself, I will be the one that will be answering, all the DMs and everything else. So you can send whatever questions you have, safety concerns, whatnot. Send it to me. I probably have already, replied enough. so that's good. Yeah. So you can just get me through.
And to quote Samuel, right? What I will say is that just some things you don't think so much, just go out there and do. And the other thing is that what's the worst can happen? Because so far, X Factor has a clean record, no accidents, everything is, fine. So what's the worst can happen? So my suggestion is call them, make an appointment, go there, throw a couple of X's. And for those of you who love to have beer while you are throwing X's, now that's an excellent experience. Do that. And then from there, I'm sure you will be back there again. And then I hope that I can catch up because I will be there like most of the Fridays, in fact.
Wow, okay.
All right. Now this is openly telling, my family members that, okay, Fridays I'm having dates with X Factor. So, I'll be there if you want to look. All right.
Okay.
We'll move on. Now, we talk about entrepreneurship, right? As what we talked about. Samuel, your passion, entrepreneurship, you talk about how it inspired. Now, entrepreneurship, as I said, is a very sexy word. Everybody want to be called an entrepreneur. Everybody want to be. But I think there's a price to pay as well. So for yourself, what were the challenges that you faced being an entrepreneur?
I think the challenges that I faced is, I think the biggest of all, is to how do I wake up feeling motivated to do things. I think that's one of the biggest factor that is sometimes will stop me from realizing the full potential of my day. So essentially, I try to just start, right? Quit thinking about things. Sometimes you overthink and everything else. So I'd be like, just start doing one task and then move on to another and then move on to another. And eventually I realized that, okay, I'm quite productive today. So I think that's one. Another challenge that I found being an entrepreneur is that I think not many people will be able to understand the lifestyle that you are leading. Being an entrepreneur, it's really time consuming. And I have this quote that I think is pretty funny. I didn't want to work 9 to 5. So I started my own business, and now I work 24/7. And it's not an understatement that I'm working 24/7, because at any point of time, if anything comes in, I have to be there, especially in logistics side, because the job there is 24/7. We have night deliveries going on, everything. So sometimes my staff will call me at 3 a.m. in the morning, telling me there's some issues going down, and I'll just call them and I have to settle the issues right then and there. So my phone has to be always unsilent, so I'll be able to pick up their calls and everything else. Hence, I think throughout it all, I did lose a few friends throughout the way of me being an entrepreneur, which I think there's really no point in delving over. But people who wants to stay, they will stay anyway, right? So for me, I'm just sometimes I'll put my loved one first, and then after that I'll put my business first, and then and that's it. Day to day, we can only do whatever we think is right. Yeah.
And we have a question from Iskandar. Entrepreneurship sometimes is a lonely journey, right? You are there. What do you say? You wake up in the morning. You need to have things to keep you motivated, and I think it's more intrinsic rather than eccentric. So now, do you have anyone to tell you when you are wrong, or maybe to guide you through and to keep you grounded? And if you have, why that?
My girlfriend. my girlfriend is probably the one that will keep me grounded. Make sure that my ego is not over the top, and I don't always think that I am right. So she will definitely, because she's the one that actually knows most of the things. I would say 99% of the things that is going on in my life, or even 100%. So she knows every single thing that is going on in my life. She knows the meetings that I have. She knows what exactly happened within the meeting and everything. So I share with her everything, and I tell her everything. So it's like I will share with her, and she will just give me her views on how things are. And if let's say she thinks that I'm wrong, she will definitely point it out to me. And a good thing is that she don't do it like shooting me down or anything. She just try to make me look at other perspective in life, because I think everybody's opinion is just another perspective. So she just let me try to look at it from another perspective, and I think that works quite well. Yeah, so that keeps me grounded, really.
Yeah, in fact, I think Iskandar himself feels that your answer is is the best person, right? Either your girlfriend or your spouse. In my case, is my
because
spouse.
They know you the best.
Say again?
Because they know you the best, right? They know the things that are going on in your life, right? So they're the best person.
And in their comments to say, look, keep your egos in check, or so on. So I think that's the best thing about having them, our spouse or girlfriend, to be the person keeping us on check. All right, and we have a comment from Peshu saying that looks like a fun day out for stressed people. Peshu, definitely it is. And since you answered episode 6, we'll just wait for end of the show, and hopefully we all can go out there and release some stress throwing eggs.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I want to touch on Peshu's comment a little bit. She said that it's a fun day out for stressed people. That is for sure. I've seen like a lot of people. Even I think the most memorable one will be a lady that just broke up with the boyfriend. Apparently, I think the ex-boyfriend is a jerk, so they printed out his picture, pasted it on the board, and then they started throwing out the picture. And that picture, by the end of the night, I can only see shreds of paper. So that the guy probably have, they are probably very stressed up about the breakup and everything else. Yeah, so that was really cool, and they were like shouting and laughing while they throughout their session. So that was really, I don't know whether it is good to say it's a nice thing to see, but it's very heartwarming for me.
Now I think we just excited a lot of our viewers, because soon you'll have people coming up with photos and printed of their water. People they hated, they say, okay, look, I want to put it up. So but yeah, definitely, Peshu, adding on to what Samuel said, as a customer point of view, I think yes, it's an awesome place. After a hard day's work, you come up there, you chill out, have a beer, and then you just throw your exes. And if you are with a couple of close friends, you have a conversation while you throw. It's not just about throwing, right? Laugh it out. It's definitely a good place. And yes, Beatrix, you are also invited for this journey. So, you should try it out. I don't know whether you're also talking about printing out any photos, but I think, yeah, definitely throwing X is a place that you should try it out. And right, so we will move on. Now, let's talk about, failures. All right, failures. Now, failures, they say that failures are the best teachers. So in your case, do you agree with this? And are there any experiences that failures has taught you?
Yeah, definitely. Failures are the best teachers. I mean, this phrase has been going around. I think if you meet any and all entrepreneurs, they will tell you that failures are definitely the best teachers. But the thing is that for me, I believe that you never really fail until you stop trying. So you might meet like speed bumps and everything else, but those are things that happen. And if let's say you give up on them, then those will be your failures, right? But if you keep on working on them, then it's just a part of your journey. So you will never really fail until you give up. And prior to me starting, I do not own any company. I have no experience in starting a business and everything else. So when it comes to failures that really helped me in starting my companies, not really. But I've trained myself to look at other people's failures. So when I listen to other people's stories and everything else, I don't listen to the success stories as much as the failure stories. So I listen to all the failure stories that I know of, even from my dad himself. Then I learn from those failures, right? Because there's only so much you can fail, before your life is over. So the best way to actually learn the most is to learn through the failures of other people as well, right? If you only learn from yourself, there's only so much you can learn, right? But if you take it from everyone else, then that's a different story. Yeah. So for my dad, I think one of the first few things that I learned from his failure is to not have nepotism come into play in entrepreneurship, right? So nepotism is like you giving your relatives or someone that you are closely related to a position of power or a position in the company that is not suited to their skill set, right? And you are giving it to them just because they are your relative. And I think that's one of the worst mistakes that you can make in your business itself. Yeah. So I told my brothers and everyone else, if you are coming to the company to work and everything, I'm going to judge you based on your skills alone, and you have to show that you are able to take the position. Yeah, otherwise it is definitely not going to work. Yeah. And people with nepotism, they will tend to pay their relative more money than it's usually needed. Yeah. So that's another bad thing. Yeah.
And yeah, it's all about how much value you bring on the table for the company, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
And interestingly, I have this conversation with my daughter, especially my older girl. She'll say, "Pa, when I get older, can I, just come to your company?" I say, "No, just because my daughter doesn't mean that you can take over the company. Work yourself up." So, I definitely resonate to where you are coming from. Now, being the the best NSF awards, being comfortable in the uncomfortable zone, I have some rapid questions round for you. I decided to make it a bit more challenging, right? And I just want to ask you questions, and then so I want to make it. And we have the founder and the CEO of X Factor, so got to give him something a bit more challenging. So the rule of the rapid is such: the moment I'll be saying some questions, he won't be out. You got to, as much as possible, just tell us the answer, anything that comes out first. All right, whatever you feel. All right, good to go.
Okay.
All right,
let's go.
So Samuel, what do you want to be remembered for?
Perhaps someone who has a good balance of time and able to take care of my loved ones and my business at the same time, and still leave some time to have fun in life.
Okay. And do you think you are heading in the right direction for that currently?
Yeah, I would say maybe 70 to 80%.
Okay, that's close enough. Now, the legacy that you want to leave behind.
I would like to inspire people to chase what makes them happy and essentially to have fun in life and not take life too seriously as it is, because I think life by itself is already hard. Let's not make it harder.
Okay. And what do you want to see Samuel Tey in 5 years from now?
Hopefully retired. Nah, I'm kidding. Maybe maybe running multiple companies, companies that will even change the world in a way or another. Make a difference or whatever. But yeah, definitely leaving hopefully some footprints. Yeah.
Okay. And your biggest disappointment and regret?
The biggest disappointment that I have would definitely be my mom's stroke time, because it took her to have a stroke before I realized that time is very precious, and that I haven't been spending enough time with her. So thank God it didn't turn into a regret, because then thereafter she actually came out to be okay, right? So her stroke is just a minor one. At the point of time, I didn't know, so it didn't turn into a regret. Thank God. And essentially, I mean, if you ask me about regret, I would definitely say that till today, I do not have any regrets in life, because I live it in a way whereby if something bad were to happen, if any decision that I make, whether it's good or bad, I learn from them. So when you learn from it, I don't see it as regret. I see it as something that just happened in my life, right? Yeah.
And not surprising from someone who thinks what's the worst can happen, right? Usually there will be no regrets. It's like, okay, just carry on, right? Move on. Right.
Something
okay. Your
like that, yeah.
last questions for the rapid round is your greatest achievement.
My greatest achievement, I think, I mean, in business sense, it will definitely be starting two companies at one go. It was really tough. 13 hours, 14 hours, even 15 hours work day. I'm left with like maybe 5 hours or less of sleep every single day when I first started out. And then, but then it got me to where I am today. So it's definitely, the greatest achievement that I have had in my life.
All right. And, Bettery Hub Channel will really, really hope that in time to come, we will see that Samuel Tey that you just talked about 5 years ago, CEO and owner of multiple companies. And we are really looking forward to that, definitely.
Thank
And
you.
Last of all, any word of advice for, our entrepreneurs or even aspiring entrepreneurs out there who, at one point of time or even now have, passion that they want to put it up? Any word of advice?
Yeah, they need to be ready to take hardships. That's for sure. I think most entrepreneurs will actually say that need to have a strong and resilient mindset, right? Otherwise, you see, when COVID-19 happened, if you're not resilient enough, you'll probably just fail there and then, right? And also train to have discipline, consistency in what you are doing, and more or less you'll probably be good to go. And just do. Don't think too much into it. Yeah.
Simple Nike motto, right? Just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, just do it. Then I mean, everybody is just figuring out their way along. I don't think we all don't know what we are doing until we are actually doing it. So there's only so much that you can ponder upon. So the best thing to do is to just do it, because nobody really knows what they are doing anyway.
Right. And thanks. And again, just to give you guys this information, for those of you who are already seriously thinking about heading down to X Factor, as what Samuel and I myself will resonate to that, just do it. We have our Facebook and the Instagram page. Check it out. It's quite colorful with a lot of videos of his customers, and everything. Check it out. And then the best thing is for you to go there, make an appointment, grab a couple of beers, and then just start throwing your eggs. It's quite safe. So, you can do that. And and Samuel, 1 hour plus has just passed. Like, it was like I felt like we just started.
Where did time go?
It just went on. But I think I like to really, really, thank you. We got a question before you go from patient. Is it possible to have a program for secondary school student leaders?
Definitely. I mean, you can come to me. We can actually work things out. I'm really open and flexible to any and all ideas that we have. As long as it's not endangering the public, it's not doing something illegal, then we are good to go.
Cool. All right, there is it, Pesha. It's possible. So definitely, I think the students are going to have an happening time if they go to X Factor. All right. Thanks, Samuel. I think even until the last minute, people are still engaging, and that's how excited they are. But I would like to thank you, Samuel, for again, coming on our show. The moment I invited you, you were more than willing to come and miss your busy schedule. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Right, Samuel. And once again, it's not a long goodbye. I will be seeing you tomorrow at X Factor. So,
All right.
all right.
See you then.
All right. See you soon,
And
Samuel.
thank you. See you.
All right. Okay, wow. One of the most happening live chats I had. We talked about X Factor activities, and we have Peshu here. Yes, sounds great. So we can expect secondary school students to come on soon. And yes, Iskandar. All right. A big thank you to Samuel if you are listening at this point of time. Right. So now let's go back to our quiz that we had initially about Bettery Hub Channel. Now, what we asked was actually initially what is the episode number today for our Bettery Hub Channel. Now, where we had two of you who said the answer, or in fact, three of you who said the answer. Initially, we had Dana. She said episode 6. And then we had Ganesh, who also said episode 6. And of course, lastly, we have Pesha, who also said episode 6. So, the good news is, yes, the three of you, initially we wanted to give one of you a complimentary trip to X Factor. But since the three of you go, no worries, just message us. We will contact you and let's have an awesome time at X Factor with Bettery Hub Channel and the staff of Bettery Lab. So I think definitely we will be meeting up Samuel there and we'll be throwing some X's. Now, thank you guys for joining us and getting involved in the Bettery Hub channel itself. All right. So it's sad to say that we have already ended our live chat for today, and we're going to meet up in a week's time. But nevertheless, again, I would like to tell all of you guys who have been joining us, thank you so much. And now, if you want to, again, see this live chat that has been streamed live, just go to our YouTube channel and just subscribe. And all the live chats, including Samuel's live chat, is already up on YouTube. And by tomorrow, you will see that the live chat will be up on Spotify. So, just go over to Spotify, look for Bettery Hub Podcast, and just like the page. And from there, you'll have all the podcasts lined up for you. So with that, thank you so much. And till we meet next week. Next week, we have someone also coming up to talk a little bit about business leadership and branding. Now, you will be hearing from us soon. So you can expect the posters out soon. But before that, we will actually have Samuel's podcast out in the next 2 days by Saturday. So look out for that. And thank you so much for all of you who have joined us today. Have an awesome Friday tomorrow and an awesome weekend. And with that, just remember, as what we always say, keep doing it better. And it's always about, improving and keep moving forward. See ya.